Brittle Bones Nicky. Kind of a crazy song. I was on a walk in Vancouver, right by where I live. There's a hospital, and I saw this man who was outside, very old man, very small. And when I went past him, I kind of thought, wow, this guy, he's lived a lot of life. Probably lived quite a hard life. All of a sudden, this kind of character came into my head, and I called him Brittle Bones Nicky. I kind of decided on my walk that this character was going to come from a tough upbringing, grew up in the foster system, kind of broke out of that life, grew into his own kind of person, but unfortunately he was kind of in the wrong underbelly part of society, and he got a little sloppy, and that's when he got caught and ultimately went to prison. Every single verse I tried to create as its own little chapter or its own little story in this guy's life, and I wanted each verse to be a complete story. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that ultimately made up the whole story. There's this band called Streetlight Manifesto I really like, and this song, Everything Went Numb, I showed it to Jeff and Lubo, and I said, I want this Brittle Bones Nicky song to have a similar kind of chaotic, gypsy-like kind of feel to it. Really quick delivery on everything, very energetic.
Goes like everything went numb for the money and the guns and everything it out.
We were sitting here, and Lubo came up with this cool, like, gypsy chord progression. So I told him I wanted this song to have that kind of energy. I wanted it to be kind of crazy. And now we go over to our Pro Tools session. In the first verse, it sounds like it's like an old record scratching, but that's actually a guitar, just like on the guitar. It's got the big 808 snare. And so we were trying to find, okay, how can we build a drum kit that is as punchy kind of as the digital kit that we were using. We were just trying to find unique ways to really get that kind of punchy sound. We actually ended up using 2 different drum kits in this song. And then in this section, this is where it gets a little bit more kind of urban, kind of hip hop. When it came to the vocals on this song, we did a lot of vocal layering. We actually went into this loading bay in the studio and we layered that a bunch of times.
You're not gonna push me around. You can't get me down, down, down. You're not gonna push me around. You can't get me down, down, down.
There you go, a big wall of vocals. In the third verse, we decided to do another kind of crazy change up. This song was just taking on some kind of weird personality, so we figured, okay, let's roll with it. Jeff came up with this sick bass part. And that kind of started the ska part.
My only friend, that's something I could live with. I could take that to the end. You're not gonna push me around.
Reminded me a bit of like Matt Freeman from Rancid or something. In the second verse, there's kind of a bad word. Brittle Bones Nicky, this is when he got caught. He was with a girl and they were doing drugs and they were in his apartment and he was getting a little down and dirty. And the line is, she did a line right off my, whoa! So I'll let you fill in the blanks of what the original kind of word was, but I was like, do we use that word in this song or do we try to find a creative way around it? And that's what we ended up doing, which I'm happy because it's kind of this cool little part.
She did a line right off my.
We added a lot of textures like sound effects and Foley. The cops kick down the door, dum dum dum. And you can hear the sirens from the cop cars kind of going in the background as well. So we try to do that throughout the entire song. In the last verse you can hear also the birds chirping when he's walking around the park. Alright, that brings us to the video of this song, animated by Solus Animation in Toronto. I essentially wanted this video to follow the story. You know, here's what the song's about, here's what each verse is about. And I gave them pretty clear direction on what I wanted the kid to go through. Essentially he's telling it from his grave. He's a ghost now. So you can see Dad had bloody heavy hands, used them on me. He had a very abusive father. And then he made a couple bucks by, you know, whatever he was doing. And what he chose to spend that money on was standing up for himself. So we went to the bakery and got a freshly baked pie and smashed it right in his fucking face. So that was the first kind of sign that Brittle Bones Nicky was kind of not going to take shit from anybody. He was going to, you know, be his own person. So now this is where Brittle Bones is cool. He's the king of his peers. He's not the little guy you push around anymore. He's smart, he's crafty. He was kind of leading the other group of, kids that he met in at the foster home in school. Whoa! Even the cops are surprised. I love that part. This is kind of interesting. The money here is Canadian. We were gonna get him to change it to American money, but we were kind of a little too late at that point. And then he saw his friend kind of getting cornered by a group of guys. I got this idea from the movie Shawshank Redemption. And then when he saw that, when Brittle Bones Nicky kind of went crazy and he just snapped. And if it cost me my life, I'd save my only friend, and that's when he saves his friend. But ultimately, that lands him a longer sentence. Now Brittle Bones Nicky is an old man, and he's straight edge as a punk. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he's clean, he doesn't steal, he's just living the straight and narrow kind of life. Tried to do what he thought was best all the time. He was an honest guy. He didn't win the game of life, but he's content with his life and he feels free, and I think that's what we can all ask for, And that's the video. That's the song. Hope you enjoy.